Damn, there is so much going on in the world right now. The amount of change that's happened in the last 2 months, basically since GBAMS reactivated and we are starting our org fully this time, it's incredible. It is unbelievable. I did not expect to see this. I think many people did not quite expect to see all the changes in the world in just the short amount of time that's been since October. In the world of gaming, in the world at large, since October, things have just been just very hectic. There has been a lot going on. Now, I intended, and I do intend to present many multimedia presentations in the form of regular videos, not quite like this, that will address a variety of issues going on in gaming. But to be honest with you, there is too much going on too quick for me to keep up with all at once. And my production standards are such that some of that content is being held back. Some of it's being revised because of new information that's coming out. There is a lot going on. So I wanted to update you all that that is the state of things. Later this month, I will be filing the incorporation articles for this organization. I will be doing this so that we will officially become a not-for-profit organization operating in the gaming space with a market watching and arts promotion twin function as our primary objectives going out. And I would like to ask for all of your support in that. This is a different kind of approach to these kind of issues. Something that has not been done before in quite this way. There are other organizations that do operate in the gaming space that are not-for-profit, but they have a narrower focus, and it tends to be a somewhat different focus than the one we will have. So I encourage you all to take a look at our website, gbamfs.org. That's gbamfs.org. Check that out and see for yourself the kinds of information, the kinds of content we have posted there in terms of articles, in terms of our mission statement, basically, as it stands. And check out our facts. Check out our facts. Make sure that information there is something that you see the value in, that you can understand. It's something that interests you, and something you can believe in. The whole point of this is to build consensus in gaming circles and represent gamers in an authentic and broad-based fashion for those choosing to participate, and in order to, frankly, get us better products, get a better outcome from the whole process of game development, and from the whole consumer perspective, have a better time of it. So we can make it a little bit easier on ourselves, and we can also make it a little easier for industry to know what we want, and that kind of it goes together at the same time. So to address some specifics, it seems as though there is a kind of a counter narrative happening now, something along the lines of that there's grifters, right? Basically, just to jump right into the issues, it seems we went from talking about the so-called woke business, and then getting people that are self-proclaimed or accused of being anti-woke. It's a whole big deal. I won't go into all of it, but long story short, some people have some very we might call them liberal views, okay, and so that is confused with, or sometimes rightly, just as often, designated with this so-called woke label. This is beyond strictly the interest of the organization. Delve into who is, who isn't woke, what is, what isn't. Not really our purpose, but it is worth observing because this is the discussion right now. Also, in response to this, it seems that some of these people and some others have decided that there is a kind of conservative, more leaning side of either anti-woke people, or they're calling them grifters. All right, that's to say, You have some major personalities in the gaming space, especially hosted on the X platform, where much of this conversation takes place. That's how Gamergate 1 played out. That's how Gamergate 2 is playing out, which is afoot now. There is a phenomenon known as Gamergate 2, and it is unfolding in earnest. And so these grifters, as they would be called, are some of the more prominent people that are, they're definitely very skeptical, if not hostile, to the so-called woke people. In summary, and they're getting accused of being grifters, right? They're just in it to promote themselves and enrich themselves, and that sort of thing, publicity seeking and power and fame, right? Well, as an organization, we're not going to take a stand on this issue of whether people are woke or not. That's really not the issue. That is something that we will have a community evaluation for. So there are members that are interested in this sort of thing, and they will be able to offer through the GBAMS platform their opinions. But just on a base level, that's not something we're going to take a strict stand on. People's beliefs are their own. What we're interested in is everybody getting good games, games that speak to them, games that they find the artistry in compelling. That's the principal interest here. Now, when it comes down to it, issues like grifterism, that's somewhat of a different matter. And that has to be taken a hard look at, because that's part of the essence of why GBAMS was formed, with a skeptical eye towards certain trends and conduct in the gaming marketplace, in the gaming ecosystem, that may be damaging that ecosystem, that may be harmful to it in the long term. So accusations, however merited they're leveled, are something that we, of necessity, will take interest in, and we must evaluate. At this point in time, most of those claims in the consensus of the organization are a little bit wanting. There is more evidence required for any of these claims in general to be borne out. This is still too new of a phenomenon, Gamergate 2, and some of the personalities involved have had a history that precedes anything like Gamergate 2 distinctly, where they've held certain positions, and they've had involvement in things that would be of market interest, that have not yet crossed the threshold in the consensus of the organization that these things would yet rise to a level of grifterism. Now, may that change in the future? It might. It might. That really depends on the conduct of the personalities involved. But that is the stance at the present time for GBAMS. And I encourage everyone to play fair, and whatever your views are, we're all really, I think, at the end of the day, most of us, the gamers in this environment, are interested in one thing, and that's getting good video games, and also being respected as customers. I mean, there's just no need for name calling on the side of proprietors or producers of electronic entertainment, and I would hope perhaps from the customer side as well. I think we can have that sort of observance of good conduct both ways, but it really must be a reciprocal relationship, and of course you can't satisfy everybody, right? So there are always going to be a few who might cast a bad light, right, reflect unfavorably on the rest of the group, and that could be as true in development circles as it is certainly in customer ones from time to time. So these are all things to keep an eye on. Now, there is one more issue that I would like to address tonight, and that is the issue of censorship. Censorship is a bane of artistic production, of artistic movement. Censorship is a stifling force in markets, in any creative area, and it is no different in the area of gaming. Gaming needs its creative room to breathe in order to provide the game consumer, the gaming market, what we want. Now, those things vary wildly. I mean, we have an ecosystem where people are puzzling on phones and playing shoot 'em ups on consoles, and playing games that are more of role playing nature or maybe of a more risque nature on PC, and all kinds of combinations of those things and other things, and that represents a healthy ecosystem, like a wide and diverse market. It's across actual country markets, national markets. It's across cultures. It is a global, beautiful, artistic arena, and that is something that GBAM stands in support of and stands in defense of. Now, without delving into the particulars, of which there are many, and it deserves examination in its own video or series of videos, which we will get into, just know that GBAMS is an anti-censorship organization. We believe in artistic freedom, and we reject the whether it be whatever the motivation, right? We're in rejection of any kind of prescription for gaming as a whole, which is to say you can't just mandate that games all have to look a certain way, all have to include certain feature sets, with perhaps some very, very basic exceptions to the notion of like market accountability, where a game released in a given market maybe, for example, should include the language that market is represents, but there's a caveat there, and this is something that's just an offhand thought. The fact of the matter is, there should be an option to also buy out of language market for a game that might not otherwise include it. So I believe in the basics of it are the game must include a language. And I mean, this is the sort of thing that is so commonsensical, there wouldn't need to be regulation for it. But that's just one example. There are many others. Gaming as a whole has so many different facets to it. It is impossible, and it is unreasonable in many cases, to try and regulate for it in a very broad sense. So, just in the example I gave before, it becomes very difficult. It becomes very difficult to see exactly how a regulation would well apply across markets, even though it might seem to make very much sense in the very local one that you might be looking in. These things get into tall weeds very quickly, and so we should take into account that this is not something that's well managed by regulation in general, and where it is, it really should be done in the most minimalistic fashion possible, in order to ensure that creative freedom flourishes and the market is able to continue to provide consumers what they want in the gaming space, which is the most lucrative and largest industry worldwide, accepting some others that are probably of a more industrial energy and martial character. Gaming is the premier worldwide form of entertainment. It's a very healthy market, and despite its troubles lately, it should be an even healthier one in the future. We would like to ensure that that is the best experience for everyone possible, and we want to make sure that we are able to stand up for those interests and the people that are represented by those interests, namely the ones that are creative freedom, anti-censorship, dignity for consumers, dignity for developers, among many others. So I'd like to thank you for tuning in tonight. This is a broad number of issues that we have to look at, and they're coming fast and furious as far as developments in the gaming space. This year has seen over a dozen more studios that are closing or have closed or are being sold off. There's just so much going on, and there is only so much time to cover it all. So we look forward to tackling more of these issues in the future, And we appreciate your interest, making sure that this is something that we're responsive to feedback on. You're welcome to contact us. Let us know what you want to see GBAMS tackle as issues, and we'll be happy to take a look at it. So on that note, I would encourage you to check out the site, gbamfs.org, GBAMS. I'm JDog. Until next time,